much every job I head to is a little bit of a jaunt. But that's okay. I mean, I like it out here. There's times where, I think, it'd be a lot nicer living in town and, not having to drive. But then when I'm in town and dealing with the traffic and everything and the growth, it's just like, wow. So, it's hard to say what I'll do. I don't know if I'll stay out here. I don't know. I'll move closer to town eventually. I mean, home prices around here are just insane. I mean, they're just, it's just crazy. Like, for the wages that are here, people can't afford to buy a home. Most people I know can't afford to buy a home, and the ones that do have a home got into them, long ago, or they happen to, have really good jobs and both, husband and wife and that work and that. But so it's kind of sad that it's the way that it is, because I'd love to be able to buy a house again. I'm renting a place right now and get a decent deal on it, but yeah. So basically for me, I've got a meeting today I'm running into. Just gonna go meet up with a rep and kind of see what they have to offer, if anything. Just, I'm always open to whatever. I like to try to stay loyal to a brand or whatever, but it's hard now. It's competitive. Like, I lost a job to Comparable Equipment. It's made by the same manufacturer, and this company underbid me by like $4,000. And granted, it was single stage versus two stage. I quoted them a two-stage furnace. They have a propane gas furnace right now, and no heat pump. They want to add a heat pump. So I quoted them a two-stage gas furnace, to save on propane, and then a two-stage heat pump. And they quoted them single-stage equipment, but I was still $4,000 more than they were. And I'm like, wow, I don't even think if I quoted like for like single-stage, I could even get close to that. And I looked into that, and no, I don't know how they're doing it. And then they had in their bid that if they chose not to do the furnace, they were only charging them like $1,300 for the furnace. And I'm like, that's like literally what I pay for the furnace. Like, I can't do that. Why would I do that? There's no profit in it. So I don't understand how some of these companies are doing that. Are they getting, according to my rep, I get amazing pricing. Like, I'm at the best pricing tier, but, is he just feeding me a line of baloney? Or, is it actually true? Like, because, how can this company sell a product that's made by the same manufacturer, just has a different name on it, essentially, and be able to undersell me so much on a job? Because I'm not putting much profit on it. I'm just trying to bid these jobs to basically, at the time, because it's so competitive right now, I'm just trying to get jobs and then to, make a paycheck. I'm not trying to retire off of anybody. I'm just I'm doing half the markup of what the companies I used to work for were doing, and less labor. So, and I do have financing options. When I send an estimate, it sends a link for if they want to do financing. I don't push it or anything. I just offer it. I'm not going to push it. I will offer it for somebody that needs it or wants it, and then, yeah, that's totally up to them. But I'm not gonna walk in there with the laptop and say, hey, we can get you signed up today. That's not how I want to run my business. You know, am I losing jobs that way? Then yeah, I am. But, you know, I'm not going to run my business in a way that I don't feel is ethical. You know, if I feel like somebody needs the financing and wants the option, you know, I'll offer it, but I'm not going to sit there and push it on them or anything. You know, that's how I want to run my business. Like, you know, and if I lose jobs for that, then so be it. But just want it to be honest, you know, and I would like to make a little more profit on these jobs, you know, so that I can eventually hire somebody to help me out. I mean, right now, if I do a furnace replacement, an add AC or whatever, I mean, for a job that should probably take me half a day to do, maybe a day at the most, it's taken me 2 days to do it, because I'm like to be super thorough. I like everything to look as clean as I can do it for my abilities, my capabilities. I want it to work like it should. I don't want the customer, I hate callbacks. I do not want a callback. Like, you know, and sometimes they happen no matter how hard you try, and sometimes it's not even your fault. It's just, you know, something with the equipment itself or some weird fluke thing or whatever. But I like, basically, I just like to try to limit the callbacks to a minimum, you know. So I don't like rushing, because I don't like leaving a job and saying, oh shoot, did I do that? Or yeah, I did that. I'm not really happy with it, but you know, it works, and they probably don't even notice. No, because I know what it's like, you know, and I want to sleep at night knowing that I did the best job that I could. And that's how I want to run my business. And like I said, if it takes me an extra day, and that's lost wages that I could have been doing another job the next day or whatever. You know, I've got 2 days into a job versus 1 day, so my profit isn't as much. Well, I guess it is what it is, because I will not sacrifice my quality of work to make a buck. You know, I just hope I can get to a point where people can recognize that I am giving them that extra, you know, that higher end quality of work, and they're willing to pay a little bit more for it. And I'm not talking about paying more like, oh, I'm just going to stick it to them because I know I do a good job, and darn it, they're going to pay for it. But no, just to, you know, I should be making more money than I'm charging right now. I will say that. You know, I know there's a lot of companies, hack companies, and I won't ever name a name of a company, you know, unless I'm recommending them or something, but there's a lot of hack companies around that they're charging way more money than I do in doing a horrendous, terrible job. You know, and some of the homeowners, they realize it, and other ones, they don't have a clue. So I feel like I could still charge a good wage, that it's like, am I cheap? No. But am I the most expensive? No. I just charge a good, fair wage for a good quality service. That's what I want to get to. Right now, like I said, I'm undercharging to get the work. And is that the right thing to do? I don't know. You know, everybody's got a different opinion on what you should do. You know, I've constantly got people telling me, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And I appreciate the input. I mean, you know, some things that have helped me out, and there's other things that I just know isn't how I can operate, or it's a good fit for me. So I just kind of like, oh, okay, and I just let it roll off and whatever. But, and hopefully nobody gets offended that I didn't listen to them or whatever. But, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I got to do what it feels right to me. It's my business. It's my legacy. I just want to build a good business, a good name, and I'm not looking to grow into some huge corporation. I'd probably stay small. I don't know if maybe it'll just be me. I mean, I could really use a helper, but right now I just don't have the capital, the extra income. I couldn't hire somebody and be able to keep them on staff. I just I barely make enough money as it is kind of just maintain myself. So I'm not there yet, but it would be nice to have somebody. It'd really be awesome to have a situation where I could just kind of, at least for now, maybe grow to a couple people down the road, so that I'm have a little more availability or whatever. But I've got to find people that I feel their quality of work is part of how I want my business to be run. You've got to have people you can trust, people that'll do the work that that you would be proud of. And I've worked with a couple of guys that I would feel confident for that, but I can't hire them because I can't pay what I would have to pay them, to leave their job that they're at now and be able to come to work for me. I wish I could, but I said I'm not there yet. So, kind of what I wish I could do is have somebody that was like, maybe semi-retired or had a really free schedule, somebody that I felt did that kind of work, that I was able to just hire, when I needed them. And that's challenging, because like I said, if I was to find somebody now, everybody that I know that I would like to have work with me or whatever, they're busy, they've got other jobs going on, and they don't want to work 7 days a week. Everybody's got families, relationships, everything, and I don't want to work 7 days a week. I will, but I don't want to do it every week. Like, I'd like to, I like having a day off here and there. If a service call comes in and I've got nothing going on, I'll go do it. But I don't want to be committed to doing like a replacement every weekend or whatever, because that's when people are available. So, it's just challenges of starting and running a business. It's rewarding. I really don't know if I could go back to working for somebody else. I don't want to. It just ends up being a grind for me. Like, I'm pretty independent. I've got, swings of where I'm really happy and, with working for people, and then I've had times where I'm miserable, and then, every time you have an issue, you tell your boss, and, you hope they take it big old fancy house. I just want something that's big enough to, live in comfortably. Have a little bit of room. I mean, I don't have a lot of clutter. I'm not into having tons of possessions. I've got tools and supplies and stuff like that. That's about the most clutter that I really have, but I don't need a big space. I don't need a fancy house, but I would like to have a house over, a trailer, and I would like to own over rent, but I hate renting. I feel like you're just throwing your money away. Yeah, it's giving you a place to live. However, at least if you buy, you've got something when you get older. If you don't have a retirement account or it's not enough, you can sell your home if, you're in a situation where you can no longer live on your own, and, you have money to downsize, to live wherever, you've got a nest egg, some income, or you've got something to leave your kids or whatever when you're gone, something that they could either live in or they could sell and make some money off of it. And then just the pride of, this is my home, I own it, and you can do what you want to with it. Yeah, there's the downsides of, you gotta put a new roof on it, you gotta, the water heater fails, you gotta come up with the money, the air conditioner, the whatever, but I don't know, I think the benefits far outweigh the negatives of it, so. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling on. I don't really have a lot of content for you guys right now. Was super busy, slowed down a little bit. I do have a job tomorrow. Going to be replacing an air conditioner, replacing a 80% efficient gas furnace and adding an air conditioner. There's currently no air conditioning in the home. So it'd be a pretty easy job. It's a garage job. There's no, it's a rental house and there's no tenants or anything there. I did sub out the electrical for the line voltage to a local electrician, guy that I actually went to high school with. Really good guy. So he's gonna come do that on this job. And so we'll be doing that. Maybe I can get some video there. I don't know if I'll be able to get much video of all the electricians there, but we'll see. And at least get you some video, maybe splice a bunch of it together to make a video. Good pictures, stuff like that. So, but other than that, not much going on. I've got that job, and that's the only thing really in the books right now, at least until next month. I got an install next month I'll be doing. Adding a 2-head mini split, 2-head indoor units. They're actually floor mount, wall mount units, floor consoles, and one outdoor unit, and then replacing the main system in their house. We're going to be doing it's a ductless outdoor unit with the ductless indoor. I mean, it's a ducted system, but it's got the communication board. So it's ICP product, the 40 MBA type product. So really good efficiency and everything out of that. So get you guys some content when I can, but I just wanted to get a video out there and kind of keep you updated on how I'm doing and how